Welcome back to the channel of Truth, Trust, and Transparency. Today, I'm unpacking one of your questions about portfolios and what should I do. And to be honest, this could just be one of the quickest portfolio videos I've ever made. Why? It's simple, it's tidy, and I don't have someone going out there and trying to get a huge unrealistic passive income figure in a shortened time frame. So this person has asked that I change their name to Nick. I'm sure by me saying that, person that has written me this, you will know that this is your particular circumstances. But let's break down the question, and then I'm going to run you through the numbers in this person's property portfolio, what I would do as myself as an investor, and give this person some things to think about. Now, remember, before I start this video, and as always, I'm not licensed to give financial advice. This shouldn't be taken as financial advice, educational purposes only. Talk to the two people that I always recommend to speak to next after watching one of these videos is going to be your accountant and going to be your mortgage broker. Your mortgage broker will advise on financing options. Your accountant is going to advise on structures and those sorts of things. But this person said, "G'day, mate. A little bit about my portfolio. Primary place of residence, 325k debt, 750k val. IP1 in Tasmania, 410k debt, 750k val. IP2 hasn't given me a location, but 325k debt, 750k val. Potentially has a little bit of resi or commercial development potential. Not sure what that is. And then IP number 3 is a bit of land worth $350,000 with no debt on it. Portfolio, 2.5 mil. About $1 million of debt, 4, 5, 6, 7, about $1,050,000 worth of debt, all in personal name. I am selling the land, which will give me $280,000 after CGT, so 280 grand in cash. After CGT, etc., having savings as a buffer, and also around 75k in shares. So if I add those two together, 355k. Looking for the best strategy and structure to scale, such as pay off PPOR and debt recycle for future IP, but also could sell one of the IPs for a commercial purchase, 600k deposit. Setting up a self-managed super fund purchase too, around 300k in there. So, congratulations to this person. This is, let me know if you need any further info. To be honest, this is a tidy portfolio. And the thing that you guys will figure out whenever you do is that you don't need these massive portfolios of 10, 20, 50, 100 property portfolios to get to a financial freedom of $100,000, a couple of $100,000 a year. And to this person's question, again, not financial advice, what would I do in this situation? Well, if I've only got 325 debt left against my PPI and I'm going to sell this and get 280, then you might want to just keep your share portfolio separately and use 45 grand in cash. Now, I'm going to say that hopefully you have that, or you can get that pretty easy saving up. So you're selling off this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay off completely the debt attached to my PPOR. Congratulations, you've just paid off your home loan. 0 LVR, and I can tell as well by the LVR across this portfolio, this person's either risk adverse or been building this for a long time. I don't know their age or their story, but LVR starting with the 5, 4s and that kind of stuff is extremely impressive. Then what I would personally do is I would then debt recycle this. Meaning, I'll go to the bank, I'll go to a really good mortgage broker, and I'll say, okay, I've got these properties here. They're yielding quite well because I don't have a lot of debt left on them. And I want to try debt recycle and get a loan, an investment loan against my PPOR for as much as possible. Now, that could be two options. That could be bringing it up to 80% LVR and getting 600k equity release. Or for this particular person, because you are quite risk adverse with low LVRs and you want to keep that, say, at 60, you can then get 450k sitting out against your PPOR, right? Sitting out in an equity release, ready to go. Now, the really good thing about this, and there's a couple of things to think about here. First and foremost, let's just say we can do the equity release at either one of these two. Self-managed super fund, 300K is an incredible amount. It's probably not enough just yet for commercial, but what it is enough for is residential by far. Again, we're needing 20 to 30% deposits to be able to buy in our self-managed super fund, which tells me at a property of $700,000, you've got the 140 grand for a 20% or the 210 for a 30%. So I would say you could probably split this into two properties. Two properties worth circa 700K if you can get. And again, one thing I don't know with this particular situation is that person's income. The person's income, because the way that obviously self-managed super fund works, it's outside of your borrowing. It's outside of your borrowing. It's worked on just the repayments that you make in terms of your super. So it depends on your job too. If you're government or someone that's putting in 15%, there's a little bit more allocated there and on this amount here. So if you've got 300K, you could probably split that. If you can get 20% deposits on $700,000 purchases, that's 140K each. That's 280 with a bit of stamps. Maybe, you know what, I'm a conservative guy because I know that this person probably is looking at their portfolio. Let's say 650, two 650 purchases, right? I go out there, buy two 650, 130 grand deposit for 20% on each, plus some stamps, and I don't need to worry about LMI and some setup costs to roll that in. Just a hint, if you're doing a self-managed super fund, just give this stuff time, guys, to set up a self-managed super fund. It takes a bit of time, there's a bit of compliance, there's a bit of paperwork, and also if you think about it, if you have 300 grand sitting in a fund, whatever self-managed super fund is, whatever the superannuation fund is, and you go, hey, I want it in my self-managed super fund, there is a really good chance that they're going to turn around and say they're going to kick their heels in and they're going to take like 3 weeks. So don't be buying and then trying to set up. Set up first, roll in, then buy. That would be my bit of advice. Again, accountant's the best person to talk to, but I would go 1, 2 quite easily. Good thing is we can set, forget, and have these in there. A bit of a lower price point means we still will get a great high-ish yield, 4s, 5s, and above, so that you won't be too strapped there in terms of super repayments. So there's two properties. You've already got two there. Now, you've got one of two ways that you can do this. And it really depends on your personal preference and how much cash flow you have and what your job is. And I'll tell you the two. One of them is going to be, you can take this out and you can put it straight into commercial. You can take it into a commercial property. 600K, you can do two things. You can take this out and buy one, where are we? One, oh, my pen's going, no. I don't know what. Tell me why I haven't been using blue. Someone. So you can take this out and buy commercial at $1.5 million. You can take it out and buy commercial for 1.5. How I work that out is I say I need about 35% costs. 35% costs. That is going to be 30% deposit, 5% all those other costs for a $1.5 million commercial. Now, if we can get something that's yielding, say, 7%, it's going to bring in $105,000 a year. The cost of that money is, because it's equity on top of a loan, there's no capital, unfortunately, so there's not a lot of margin. If it costs us 5.5% interest rate, let's just say, that money is going to cost probably around $80,000 a year, 80K. So you'll be up probably around 25K a year. You can do that. You can go boom, commercial. I'm going to chuck that all into commercial property. The reason that I do it this way, if I didn't want to potentially be out of pocket with the negatively geared residential portfolio. So go commercial, I think, if you're risk adverse and you don't want to potentially have, you don't want to be negatively constrained. Even if this is sort of one-on-one, by the time that sort of starts to pay itself down, and remember with commercial, you're getting a 4% rental increase in most cases per year. So that'll eventually, you might buy it and it cover itself, but each year you make 4% on the yield, which is $4,000. So if you have a 5-year rental yield in place, you have 4,000, you'll get 4,000 positive income, 4,000 increase in the first year. Then by the 5th year, you're up 20 grand. So that's one way that you can do it. The other way that you could do it as well, and depending again which way of these you go, but you could quite comfortably split this up and borrowing capacity dependent. But if you're putting down 200K per property, I don't see why that couldn't mean 3 more. 1, 2, 3. 3 doors. In that particular case, 200K, you're probably still looking at, again, this sort of price range. And you can go and buy 1, 2, 3 straight away. You've got it. That would be dependent on your borrowing capacity. You might not. Again, this issue with trusts has just opened up. So your accountant, your mortgage broker are going to be the best person. Speak to your mortgage broker. Is there anyone that is, is there opportunities for us to do this sort of lending or something along those lines? But if you can get 3, potentially you can get 2, you go down the resi rate, you go down the resi route, because you have equity on top of a mortgage. Just be prepared that these are probably going to cost you $5,000 to $10,000 per year in repayments. That's the second. So you can go out, split that 600 or that 450 into probably 2 to 3, quite comfortably, 2 to 3 assets, resi. Now, the good thing is, long term, long picture, if I'm going out and buying 2 or 3 and I'm doing it this way, then in a few cycles time, in 10 years time, when you want to go out there and you want to retire, then you can sell off. The benefit they have on this side is that, yes, you've paid that, you've been negatively geared a little bit, but you can then sell off 1 or 2 of those, and then you can leverage that profit that you've made and, call it you're buying these for 600 each, right? They double to 1.2 mil. Maybe you're paying a bit of tax and you're coming out of them with 400K each. That could be 800K that we put into a commercial property, or 900K. Because if you can go into a commercial property, then at say $2 million, yielding at 6.5%, it's going to be 130K in rent, right? However, you've only got a $1 million debt, which will cost you 55K, right? 55K mortgage repayments, $130,000, which means 85K positive cash flow in one purchase. That's what you can do in 10 years time from buying these 3. We haven't even talked about these 2, and we haven't even talked about self-managed super fund. Self-managed super fund, you might even do the same thing. Is them, you hold them, and then just when you want to retire, maybe you sell 1 or 2 down, or both of them, and then you go into a commercial property. But in self-managed super fund, I might buy that outright. I might sell them and buy that commercial property absolutely outright. It might be 15 or 20 years. I buy that outright. That way I don't have any mortgage troubles because, again, I'm cutting off my work. I buy something for $1.5 million in cash, for example. Say you've held, and again, I don't know how old this person is, but say you've held for 15, 18, 20 years. These properties go up. You're coming out with 1.5 in cash after you've paid your tax. And again, 1.5 mil, if it's bringing in 100 grand, that's 100 grand there. You've sold off and went into $2 million commercial. There's 85 there. That's 200K. Then, what are we doing here? Maybe these have paid themselves off too and are giving you, maybe they're renting at, say, 50, 60 grand a year. There's 10 grand worth of expenses. Might be 80 or 100 grand there. So automatically, self-managed super fund, cash cow. Use that PPR stuff, cash cow. Use them, cash cow. So that's a good opportunity for sort of 200-300K. A lot of context I didn't get around here: salary, how long they want to retire, how long they want to work for, those sorts of things. But that is My anonymous friend, probably the way that I would look at things. If it were me, I would debt recycle out, see what my servicing and really strategize with my broker around how I can best use that, and my mortgage broker. If you need a really good mortgage broker, hit me up and I can suggest a couple of people now that I know your portfolio. But then I'd be using this, and I could either go, me personally, if I was on salary, decent money, I'd probably go the resi route if I wanted to work and I still had that timeline. You could go boom, 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 easy as that, and then hold them for a cycle or two, sell off a few, and then I go boom straight into a resi property. And you'll really, the name of the game, guys, is equity on top of equity on top of equity allows you to scale quick, but it doesn't allow you to retire. So you either need to sell, or you need to be able to inject that portfolio with cash so your debt is low, but your value is high, if that makes sense. Because if I've got 106%, I've got a 80% loan, and I've used the other bit from equity from my portfolio, I can never retire on that because the cash flow is just not going to be there because of the cost of repayments. So what you're trying to always work towards is, how can I get, like in these particular instances, low loans, low cost of money, and high rental yield. Two's a good example. So here it might have been just timing, allowing that portfolio to slowly increase over time. Might need to do it here, or we can, a good way to do that, again, I say I do development, but you can also, consider selling some assets that have performed or have done those runs. Sell, boom, relocate commercial, at least 2 out of that 300K, again, salary dependent. But that's my thoughts for this one. Let me know questions, thoughts, queries in the comments. And as always, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.